Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have come up with a project on Jenkins. I'll show you how we can set up the CI/CD pipeline automation. In this project, we'll build and deploy a small Java application into remote Tomcat server. So before setting up the project, let's understand what is Jenkins pipeline. Okay, so let's start. Jenkins is an open source continuous integration server which has the ability to support the automation of software development process. You can create multiple automation jobs with the help of use cases and run them as a Jenkins pipeline. So here are the reasons why we should use Jenkins pipeline. So Jenkins pipeline is implemented as a code which allows multiple users to edit and execute the pipeline process. Pipelines are robust, so if your server undergoes an unforeseen restart, the pipeline will be automatically resumed. You can pause the pipeline process and make it wait to resume until there is an input from the user. So Jenkins pipelines support big projects and you can run multiple jobs and even use pipelines in a loop. So you can add loops, you can add conditions and when the next test should start, and you can create the dependencies. All the things whatever you do in a programming language, most of the things you can also set up in this pipeline. Okay, so to work on these pipelines we need the Jenkins file. So let's see what is the Jenkins file. So Jenkins pipeline can be defined using a text file, so that is called your Jenkins file. So you can implement pipeline as code using Jenkins file, and this can be defined by using a domain specific language, that is DSL. Okay, so the benefits of using Jenkins files are like you can create pipelines automatically for all branches and execute pull requests with just one Jenkins file. So all your pipeline code you have to write into your Jenkins file. So you can review your code on the pipeline. You can audit your Jenkins pipeline, like the audit process whenever what was the change has happened previously in case of any issues, or need to be know what has happened if there is a breakdown in the system, right? And this is the singular source for your pipeline and can be modified by multiple users. So there are two ways of writing the pipelines. One is your declarative and the other one is the scripted. The declarative pipeline syntax offers an easy way to create pipelines. It contains a predefined hierarchy to create Jenkins pipelines. It gives you the ability to control all aspects of a pipeline execution in a simple, straightforward manner. And the scripted one is the scripted Jenkins pipelines runs on the Jenkins master with the help of a lightweight executor, and it uses very few resources to translate the pipeline into automatic commands. So both the declarative and scripted syntax are different from each other. Like declarative is a simple plain language, you can write it one after another, but the scripted you have to use the Groovy script to write the pipeline. So let's start to set up our project. So we'll use the declarative pipeline to create our CI/CD pipeline automation. I have created a project folder, and in this folder I have kept all the required project files and the required Jenkins files. Okay, so if you see it here, I have files like the project files. I have the source directory and the pom.xml file which is required for a Maven project to build a Java application or Java project. And I have created a Jenkins file, and in this Jenkins file I have kept our pipeline as code. Okay, I have written the pipelines. So remember, whenever you're writing a pipeline, you have to first create a text file called Jenkins file. This should be uppercase and file should be written as lowercase, like Jenkins file. Okay, let me show you what is written inside this Jenkins file. Okay, Jenkins file, and here if you see I have written as pipeline, so I am going to use the pipeline as a code in the declarative way. So here I have used agent any. You can mention whatever the agent you can use, like I have mentioned agent any means whatever the free agents available, this particular code will be executed or built in that instant. So tools, I'm going to use the Maven tools, and in the Jenkins setup I have done the setup as local underscore Maven, and the parameters, I'm going to parameterize this project. So parameters I have given, like I have taken a string. In this string I'm going to deploy or deliver this build or project into Tomcat staging server, and the default value here I have given the IP address of the remote Tomcat server where this is going to be deployed. The application, after build, the application is going to be deployed. So here is the description: remote staging server. When you write the pipeline, you have to write this pipeline and then various stages. Okay, and here we have the stages, and in that stages we have various stages inside it. So we have one stage like build. So we are going to build the project first, and inside the stage we have multiple steps. In this step we are going to build our project. So I'm going to use the Maven build tool to build the project. Ambient clean package. So after the build is success, what happens post success? I'm going to archive the WAR file, archive the artifact. So artifact is nothing but the binary generated after the build is success. So here I'm going to use this command, archive artifacts, and artifact details is // target and star.war. This target file, actually this is the Jenkins folder where workspace folder. After the build is success, the war file will be generated and will be placed in this target directory. So next stage is deployment. So once the build stage is completed, the next stage will run as deployment. So in this deployment, I have another stage that is called deploy to staging, and here I have used like the steps SSH. I'm going to use the SSH command, where SSH tool like the cell prompt. I'm going to use the SCP like secure copy to transfer this WAR file to the web folder of the Tomcat server. And this is the Tomcat server IP. If you see here, I'm calling these parameters from this parameter line Tomcat underscore staging. Here if you see params dot Tomcat underscore staging. So this will get the default value, that is this IP address. Okay. So once this IP address will be called, and here using this SCP, I'm copying this WAR file to the web apps folder. So as soon as this file is copied, the web app will unarchive this WAR file and create the web app folder. So now let's see how we can set up this Jenkins pipeline in our Jenkins tool. And here is the Jenkins dashboard. Okay. To create a new project, so you have to click on the new item, and here just give a project name. Suppose I'm going to give Java Tomcat Pipeline Project. Now here we have different options to choose. Either you can choose freestyle project or pipeline or folder or multi-configuration project. As we are going to do the pipeline as code, so I'm going to choose this pipeline orchestration. Okay. Now click on OK. So as soon as you click on OK, it will give you the dashboard where you can set up the entire project. So here is the general tab. In general tab, just give the description. So we can give like this. Now we don't have to do anything. Simply just come to here build triggers. Okay, come to this build triggers, and here in this build triggers, we can see we have various options to choose. Whether you can set up poll SCM or GitHub pull request, GitHub branches, and all these options you can set up. Or what I am going to use, I'm going to use GitHub hook trigger for Git SCM polling. So when we choose this option, as soon as you just push the code into GitHub repository, GitHub
GitHub webhook trigger will automatically be triggered, and it will start building to the, and it will send the notification and signal to the Jenkins, and Jenkins will start building the project automatically. Okay, so we don't have to go on Jenkins and manually build the projects. Now what we have to do, here are two options. Also in the pipeline section, in advanced project options, we have pipeline. In this pipeline, either we can write the script here itself in the script field, or you can select pipeline script from the source code management. So select here, and the source code management I'm going to use Git. So when you select a CM, so you have to choose the repository URL. Okay, so I have put this project and the Jenkins file into my GitHub repository. Okay, so if you log into my GitHub and run it for GitHub/DevOps, this is the project where I have kept all the project files as well as the Jenkins files. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just getting the repository URL. Just copy this repository URL and put it here. So when you give a private repository, and it will throw you an error like fail to connect the repository, because it is required the credentials to log in. Okay, so I have created the credentials over here. Just select it. So as soon as you select, it will go away. See, now we successfully connect to our Git repository. So if you have not created this credential, you can create it. If you just click on this add and click Jenkins, and it will, you can add the credentials over there. Now the next step is the branches to build. So which branch we are going to build? Going to build the master branch, and next is the script path. Because the script path is most essential, so we have to mention the Jenkins file, because we have written all the pipeline into our Jenkins file, and these Jenkins files we have put into our repository. Okay, just save it. Now we created the project. So what we can do next we'll just set up a webhook into our GitHub repository. So this is my GitHub repository. I'll show you how we can set up the webhook so that it will automatically trigger when a developer puts the code into the GitHub remote repository. Okay, so now just go to your repository and go to settings, and here in settings you can see here left hand panel will see webhooks. Just click on this and you'll see here one URL, right? We have to edit this URL and provide your Jenkins server information. I'm just going to edit it. So it will ask the password for the confirmation. Put your password, and here is the IP address. You have to change it. So if my Tomcat server my Jenkins server runs on this IP, so I'll get the Jenkins server IP and I'll just put it here. And this is my Jenkins server IP, and Jenkins server runs on port 8080. Okay, and what I'm going to select here, just the push event, and that should be select active and update the webhook. So my webhook is now updated. So what we can do now, just simply we set up the project. If you go to the dashboard, we'll see here our project is ready. Remember, when you create the project first time, you have to build it manually, so that next time it will automatically be triggered. Go to the project directory on your development server. Okay, so let's come to this folder, and here I'm going to simply edit the Jenkins file. Okay, and here I'm going to change the IP of the Tomcat staging server. So this you have to change accordingly for your server. Okay, so just edit it and save the file. Once you save the file, you can use git command to add and commit the code. Once you commit, you can push the code to the origin, that is your remote repository. So let's add it. So if you do git status, you'll see only one Jenkins file modified. So I'm just going to add git add After that we can commit it, right? Commit -m, just providing a message like Jenkins file modified. Okay, hit enter. So you can see here one Jenkins file modified and one file changed. Now we can push this code to GitHub remote repository. To do that, we can use git push origin and master. I'm going to push the master to the origin. Hit enter. As wrong, it should be origin, not present. Okay, just give origin. Okay, now you can see our code has been pushed to GitHub repository. So if you come here, your GitHub repository and the webhook section, you can see it here, the recent deliveries. So here you can see the webhook has been triggered and date is 29 and this is today's time. Okay, just 1 minute before. Just click in this and you will see all the informations. So it has been sent. And also you have received the response also. When we send the delivery request, we got the response back. That's 200 means it is success. And same time, if you go to the project and see, one build will be one automatic build will be triggered. Here you can see as soon as you push the code into remote repository, the webhook got triggered and here the build is started automatically in the Jenkins project. And it will take some time to get the build success. Once the build success, you can just click this one and see the logs. Okay, if you go here, you can see the console output, and if you see here all this information, build is success. After build, we archived the artifacts. Okay, and then we copied the war file into our Tomcat server. This file has been copied to our Tomcat server. Now let's check our web server whether it is running or not. So let me get the web server IP address, public IP, and paste into the browser, and the port number is 8080. Our Tomcat server also runs on port number 8080. Now give the application name. So our application is DevOps Web. So here it is. Now we can see our application is up and running, has been successfully deployed into our server, Tomcat server on the remote machine. Okay, now let's do a small changes to the version. Here we can see here it is 1.1 version. Let me change quickly the version and update the same code into again and see how it will be reflected automatically into this and how the application will get changed. Okay, so we don't have to do anything now. We don't have to build, we don't have to deploy. So once you change the code into the change the code in development server and update that into the remote repository, it will automatically the code will get built by the Jenkins and it will be deployed into the staging remote server. So let me do the changes. So I am into my project folder. So here if I go to my source directory, main and web app. So I'm just going to change the template file and we'll see. And here in this template file, we have the version information. I'm just going to change the version here. Suppose here 1.105. Let me change it to 0. And here 1. I can mention 2. Okay. Now let me save this file. And once I save this file, I have to update into Git repository and then push into the remote repository. Okay, so now our code has been pushed. Okay, now what we can do, we don't have to go anywhere, we don't have to check in Jenkins, we don't have to check in the GitHub remote repository or anything. Just simply come to your project and your application you can see, and if you refresh it, it will be automatically, the version will automatically get changed. Just refresh it, you can see here the version has changed. So we did not do anything. So the developer just simply changed the code, and once it pushed the code to remote repository, the build will automatically start by the Jenkins, and then once the build is complete successfully, the binary artifact will be deployed into the remote server, into the Tomcat server, into web server. Okay, so here we can see how simply we can set up the CI/CD pipelines. So hope you understood what is Jenkins pipeline and how we can set up the entire project using the CI/CD pipeline. And if you have any doubt or any concerns, please let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please do share it and subscribe my channel for further updates on the DevOps project. So I'm going to keep add more projects on Jenkins and other projects. So kindly subscribe it so that you'll get notified when new projects will be added into that. Thank you.